morning, everyone. I have 50 minutes to convince you to extend your portfolio with eShops. So I want to give you some insight into where the market is and why it's interesting for you. Let me see. So first of all, it's important to understand that we're in a very healthy market. So the e-commerce keeps growing. It's right now in the US, it's about $330 billion retail revenue, and it keeps growing in the next 4 years to almost $500 billion, 10% annual growth rate. So a very healthy market to be in, and a lot of demand from retailers to move to online stores. And just this year, there's 17% growth expected in online revenue in the US. So, and the nice thing for this community here of hosting providers is that more than half of these retailers are planning to move to cloud solutions or SaaS solutions. So they're moving away from on-premise solutions, single servers, to SaaS-based cloud solutions. Why the SMB market offers big potential, especially in the US, is obvious to most of you, I think, because it's the most entrepreneurial market in the world, and there are lots of new businesses getting started every day. If you look at the total opportunity, 28 million businesses just in the US, a lot of them single-person businesses, 22 million, and an amazing number, almost 500,000 businesses are getting started every month. So and a lot of these businesses are looking at this fast-growing market of online retail and are looking into, getting a share of that opportunity. So our perception is often that this entire market is going to large retailers, to the Amazons of the world. But that's wrong. If you look at the 300 million that I showed you earlier, about a third of that revenue is captured by small businesses. Partly, of course, because they're selling on Amazon, but also a lot of little niche players that have their own very dedicated target markets that they're addressing. So it's still a huge opportunity, even though large enterprises have taken a big chunk of that market. So what makes the SMBs special? What makes them competitive? How can they succeed in this fast-growing market? First of all, they're very, very passionate about what they're doing, and they know their products, their markets, their customers often better than large enterprises. And they focus on niche markets, and there are thousands of niche markets that companies can go for. And what's good for us is that they're very loyal customers. So once they've decided to go with a certain solution, they're unlikely to switch unless we really screw things up. Yeah. So that's why we as ePages were focusing on the SMB market. When you look at the needs of SMB customers, what's specific, what's different from larger enterprises? First of all, the most important thing is that they want easy-to-use solutions because they don't have a large IT organization behind them. So, and they're often not IT experts themselves, so it needs to be really easy to use. That's the most important criteria for us in our daily work when we develop these solutions. And because, especially the ones who start, they have big dreams. They want, to create million-dollar businesses, so they want to start small with a really small budget, but they want to be sure that it scales as their dreams mature. And so having a scalable solution and not just a solution that works for the entry level is vital when they make their decisions. And of course, it needs to be secure again because they don't have a large IT organization behind them, so they need to be sure that their site is always up and running and that it's that they don't see attacks and things like that. So, and of course, since the world is quickly changing, there are new interfaces, new things, new devices the existing players like PayPal, eBay, Amazon, they're constantly changing their interfaces. And to keep up with that fast-changing world, it's important that the solution is automatically updated. So, because they cannot cope with all the changes that are happening out there in the market. Most of these stores are not isolated stores that are just set up once and then keep running for years and years. They are connected to the rest of the world. They're connected to Amazon, they're connected to eBay and lots of other sites. So keeping those APIs intact and keeping those connections up and running is important because they can't track that themselves. And they want it to be, they want to control their shop. They want to be able to make changes maybe on a daily basis, change prices, add new products, new categories, et cetera, et cetera. And often in the past, we've seen sites that have been set up by agents or agencies or freelancers for them using open source software. And the interface to this software is often not accessible to the merchant himself. So it becomes very costly to maintain the site and make changes. And many of the merchants have learned that they want at least a site where maybe they want an agency to set up the site, but once it's up and running, they want to be able to maintain it themselves. And of course, it needs to be resource light and low in cost, et cetera, typical for SMBs. So, and it needs to be set up real quick. When an SMB has a new business idea or when they make a decision to go online, they don't plan this ahead in many years. They want to set up this real quick, especially the startups that are planning their whole business concept on the online store. They want this to be up and running within a few weeks. So how can we respond to that, and how can hosters address all these needs of SMBs? When you look at the available solutions in the market for e-commerce, I'm basically seeing 3 different approaches plus ours. And when you look at plugin solutions like Ecwid or WooCommerce, you see they address some of the needs. You can set them up real quick, but they're limited and they're not scalable. And they're just as expensive as a full-blown online shop like ours. When you look at open source, which is probably still the most dominant market out there for online shops because it's used by agencies and freelancers, the good thing about this is it's highly customizable, as we all know, but it's not managed. It's driven by the community and agencies, and the community and agencies, they want to maximize their customization cost and not, they don't want to maximize your margin. And so that's why we think in the long run that the open source approach, I guess many of you who are hosting e-commerce are hosting Magento stores and other open source solutions on your servers. Maybe you don't even know about that because agencies are using it. But for SMBs, it's not the best solution because in the end, it's very, very expensive for them to have the agencies do all the maintenance. And then lastly, of course, we have the pure players. They have a nice ecosystem. They have all the integrations that we have. So, and they're professional in e-commerce, the Shopifys and Big Commerce and Volusions of the world, but you're competing with them. And there are many hidden costs. They're often much more expensive than what we offer with the same feature set, comparing head to head. And they have no attractive reseller model. So they're not good partners for you, whereas we do just white labeling, and we give you a solution that you can sell under your own brand. So the ePages solution is we give you, full feature, full-blown e-commerce solution that you can position against Shopify and Big Commerce. It is the best value for money. You can sell it even at a much more aggressive price than Shopify. It's scalable and it's fully managed. So that's why we would like to invite you to join the market with a fully managed e-commerce solution. Add this to your portfolio. And what's your competitive advantage in this market out there against Shopify and Big Commerce? One of the things is that you can offer a broad portfolio. Most small businesses are not just looking for one solution. They're looking for a breadth of solutions. They not just want a domain or hosting space or maybe a website builder and eShop. They're looking for many different things that you're much better off to sell than the pure players are. And one thing I forgot is your acquisition cost is much lower than a Shopify or Big Commerce is. If you look at the effort that they're making, Shopify has just filed for an IPO. Take a look at that. You'll see they have very, very high acquisition costs, whereas even when you get domains registered, you can convert customers quickly to set up their online shop on your side. Here's an example. 1&1 is one of our big hosting partners. We have, as you can see, we're coming from Germany. We have most of the hosting providers and telecommunication companies in Europe are using ePages and are selling ePages. We have, I think, 8 out of the top 10 hosting providers are selling ePages, and 7 out of the top 10 telcos are selling ePages. So we have a long track record of working with the hosting industry in setting this up. Here's an example. 1&1 is selling this already in the US. And here's our product range. It starts at something like ePages Space, a smaller solution, is $10 a month, retail price. We get about a third of that as royalty. And throughout the whole family platform that we offer, you can see it can grow to ePages Enterprise, $400 a month. There's very nice margins for you in this business. And it's all a single platform, so you can seamlessly scale from an entry-level solution up to a high-end enterprise solution. We have some customers on ePages Enterprise that are doing as much as $50 million in annual revenue. So you can see, from a really, really small start and low-cost start, you can scale all the way up. And if you look at that on a customer lifetime value, right now we're seeing from our installed base, the average lifetime is about 3.5 years. And I think it's all constantly growing as companies mature. You can see even with the lowest level entry point solution at $10 a month, in 3.5 years it's $420. And when you go for the $50 solution, the mid-range solution, it's more than $2,000 over the lifetime of the customer. So it's a nice business to go after. We're not just providing the technology. We're not just selling you a piece of software. We're selling you a whole market, a whole support model. So we're giving you all the marketing material that you need, including video tutorials in many different languages. We're able to work with you on design services, so you can not just offer a DIY solution, but also a do-it-for-me solution in case you want to offer design services. We're offering you second and third level support for your support organizations. And very, very important, we do all the application management. So we're taking care of setting up upgrades or installing upgrades and making sure that the sites are up and running 24 hours a day. We have 99.9% uptime that we guarantee. And we do all the technical consulting, so integrating that with your other systems, with your control panels, et cetera, is what we do all the time. So I want to close this with a video of one of our customers. It's Gola from Finland. They're selling these nice bags. If you're quick enough, I think we have some of those left at our booth right here at the entrance. And I just want to run this quick video here to finish my presentation. As I said, come to our booth. It's right next to the entrance, and we'll give you some more. We can answer your questions there and give you some more insight. So can we run the video? Good. Thanks very much.